Hello, hello, hello. If you're watching me right now, you are at the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host. Today, of all days, and every time I have this show, I get so excited because I have a chance to meet and introduce you to some wonderful coaches, educators, and mentors. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, Barbara, why did you even create this show? I mean, this is one of your signature shows. You've been on for 5 years doing this show. But why? And you know why I do this? Because I said no one seemed like, no podcast or no show really had any, interviewing any coaches and giving them some love and letting them know that they're helping other people reach their goals. But how about the coaches of themselves, right? So I said, well, since I didn't see one, guess what? I created one. I created a show, the Coaches Lounge, and I said, I'm going to bring these wonderful experts and people that help you, me, everybody out there develop themselves to get to the next level in their lives. Now, everybody, I always say, and usually people say this, you need a coach, you need a mentor, somebody that's going to feed into you and believe in you and help you grow in the levels that you're trying to grow. Just because you have a coach, that doesn't mean you're broken somewhere. That means that you're trying to uplift to your highest potential, and it doesn't just take you alone. It takes others to help you. So remember that. That's something on the side note that I want to tell people. A lot of people think, well, I need to be fixed, so I got to get a coach. No, you're just trying to get to your best self, and sometimes it takes other people to come in because we don't know everything, right? So with that, I want to bring out a wonderful, amazing coach that I have that I'm going to be interviewing today. This person, spectacular already. I just met him and I'm like, wow. I was wowing over his what he does, his accolades. Peter Boolkah is a business owner, author, keynote speaker, and a creator of Hamster Wheel Trap. And we're going to a little bit more into that because already that was like, oh, okay, what is that about? With that, he has more than 2 decades helping founders grow and scale their business. He became known as the chat for challenging one of the biggest myths in entrepreneurship, that success should require the owner to be at the center of, of everything. Through his book, Your Business Sucks, whoops, Peter helps business owners build companies that create freedom, increase value, and thrive without depending on them every day. His mission, and I love this, is simple: helps founders build businesses that work without destroying their lives. Can I get a hand on that? So, with that said, we're not going to keep you anymore. We're going to be back in 60 seconds so we can get to know this wonderful, amazing, and I'm going to call him a king, King Peter. We'll be right back. If we're just tuning in with my technical stuff, if you're just tuning in, you have came to the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host and as a wonderful guest, a phenomenal. I usually call the women that my show queens, but then when I have my kings, it's special there. I have King Peter here. Hi, and also, just have to add to that before he says anything, he is from wonderful, amazing London. So, King, please, thank you so much for being on the Coaches Lounge.
Hey, Barbara, thank you so much for having me today. So looking forward to our time together.
Me too. And you know what? This king, he's very persistent already. It's 10 o'clock, around 10:30 his time, and at night. And he's coming on the coaches lounge. So that tells you right there that you need to basically reach out to him and talk to him just on that alone. But thanks for coming. And like I said before, I want to make sure that you shine today. I want to make sure that you're getting the love and getting the visibility because, like I said, as coaches, we're always making sure, and as business owners or entrepreneurs or just in leadership, right? We're always trying to make sure the other person is growing and doing what they need to do. But there's times that us as coaches need to be in that seat and being able to shine and be able to tell people their story too, how they got to where they go. So with that, I always like to pull the curtain. So can you tell us how you got to this point in your life?
Well, if you're talking about coaching itself, if I told you it was by accident, would you believe me?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would.
Look, it was one of those things. I did 16 years with McDonald's, had a great career, then branched off, bought an Italian restaurant because I like cooking. Realized that actually cooking for a few people versus cooking for 180 covers a night isn't the same thing. Wasn't interested. And the fact that this was my first experience going into business. I went into business with someone that worked for me in McDonald's, never asked him where he got his half of the money from, ended up being his wife. All of a sudden, there was three in the partnership, and that didn't work out quite well. So I sold my half of the business. And I was actually going to go back into corporate. Was starting to look for my next corporate gig because that was all I ever knew. Then I got approached actually by Action Coach, which is a coaching franchise, and I wasn't going to do anything, to be fair. I thought, okay, well, got time on my hands. Let me just see what these people are about. Was doing my due diligence. It really wasn't for me. And do you believe that sometimes the right person comes in your life for the right reason? Yeah. So my very last appointment was with a franchise owner. He just set up his own firm, probably about a year earlier. And it was him that got me into coaching because it kind of I believed in what he wanted to do, where he wanted to go. But you talk about mentors early on. He was the mentor I needed at the time to help me transition out of corporate into a whole new world and for me to change as a person. So yeah, I never actually said to myself, "Oh, I have a burning desire to go and be a coach and help others." I kind of fell into it, and that was the rest is history, really.
Wow. Well, I love that history because it got you where you are now. As a business
Mm.
owner, I mean, you're author, you're a keynote speaker. You created this wonderful, I love what the title is, The Hamster's Wheel Trapped. And I can kind of guess what that title's about, what that is about, especially in, you're working with business owners and businesses to basically get out of their head and make sure that what they're doing is not the mundane thing. Now, this is something I'm guessing, but I know that that's where I work at because I work a job during the day in corporate, and I know it can get like a hamster wheel.
I think the thing, Barbara, and you know it yourself, is like business owners, they're quite driven people. And a lot of people say to me, "Well, why did you call your book Your Business Sucks?" I'll tell you why. Had I called this, "Oh, your business could be a little better, you have plenty of opportunity," who's gonna read that book? No one.
I get you.
Sometimes you've got to capture their attention. So for
Hmm.
me, I thought, okay, well, let me poke you in the eyes, wake you up, and we'll go from there.
I love it. I always tell people you got to get that hook, you got to catch them, and you caught me because as soon as even when I was reading over, I said your business sucks. I said, "Ooh, that sounds interesting." And like you said, I want you to talk a little bit about this too, Peter. Is how many people way back in their mind thinking like that? See, it's you caught their attention, but see, sometimes in the back of their mind, they might be saying, "You know what? Mine does kind of suck. Maybe I need to read this book and see what's going on here." It's like gives them that like moment. Yeah.
Yeah. In the reality, there is no such thing as a perfect business
No.
because we live in an imperfect world. And if you, I mean, look, the last 6 years alone, have been the most craziest I've known in a long time. I mean, you think about it, 6 years, what we had. We've had COVID, we've had global inflation, we've had supply chain crisis, we've had war in Ukraine, war in Iran. I mean, everywhere you go,
Yes.
it's mad, 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 mad. And it's probably
Mm-hmm.
the hardest time to be in business for any business owner out there. And therefore, yes, do you know what? It's not just your business sucks. It's actually the world around us, to a degree, can suck.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you brought that up because how do you know we all have to figure out through all of what you just said? I always say the earthquakes and floods of life in general, you have to still stay in your peace, in your train of thought, in your wisdom, and growing and whatever, not just in business, but just personal, right? To keep
Yeah,
that
and
going.
you said it at the very beginning. It's about the people you have in your life. And as much as working for yourself is great, it can also be one of the loneliest places on the planet. If you think about it, you're responsible for others, you're responsible for your family, there's all that pressure. And really, who does the entrepreneur have for themselves? Where is their support?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, where is their support? And that's one of the reasons why what really drew me to like I mean just example what I'm doing now with this particular TV streaming show is I want to support the coaches. Coaches need to support coaches. We need to support, like you said, business owners need to support other business owners. We need to lift each other up because of all the things that you just mentioned just recently about what's going on. How do you maneuver through that? I mean, just let's take COVID for instance. That hit everybody. That wasn't. I always tell people that wasn't just in the U.S. That was all over. So we all had this like either you could have stopped your life and said, well, or said, okay, there's a pause, but what am I going to do in this pause? How am I going to take whatever I need to the next level in this pause? Yes.
It's the interesting thing is that probably in all my lifetime, that was the first time I had a time to just stop. Ever since I was a kid, it was always like parents, well, you got to go to school, you
Mm-hmm.
got to go to college, you got to
Mm-hmm.
go to university. When you
Mm-hmm.
finish getting university, go get a job. And by the way, when you get a job, make sure you get yourself a relationship and then start a family, get a house. It was just non-stop.
It's good. You're talking my language, Peter, because that's the same thing with me. I was like, do I ever get a break just to breathe for a minute? It's like I got to keep doing. Wow. Yes. I'm glad that I'm not the only one in that boat. Thank you for reminding me of that. But yeah, it was for never. And you're always having to reach some for something or do something. But like you mentioned, and that's really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up with that COVID. Not saying it was it was tremendous how we had to deal with that, but it did have us automatically, no matter if we didn't want to or not, stop. Yeah.
And you know what business owners do not do? They do not stop enough.
Mm,
They keep going, they keep going. They often work off adrenaline. And I always think, look, if I keep running fast and fast and fast, it's going to sort itself out. It's going to come good.
mm,
And you know what? Unfortunately, that is not the case,
yeah,
especially today. I mean, things are out there so complex now. 40 years ago, you could have got away with being an average business owner. Yeah, the world is moving at a slower pace. Today, if you're average, the chances are you're dead
yeah,
because it's so much more complex.
yeah,
And I love the saying, sometimes you've got to slow down to speed up. I think that's
yeah,
very much today. Today, you've got to take time to slow down, look at what you need to do,
yeah.
and then go on that trajectory. Did you know that in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same in the US actually, that 80% of businesses that start up do not make year five?
Yeah. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say after and then I heard too. They said after 5 years, if things haven't been going or moving forward, then you need to make some changes or to say this is
Mm.
not working. Yeah.
But how sad is that? The thing that you started that was meant to give you more life, more freedom, more happiness
Mm.
takes all of that away from you.
Yes. Wow. Ooh. Peter, can you expound a little bit on that? That's huge. That's huge what you just said.
But
Yeah.
that's 20 years of seeing it happen day in, day out. It's what
Mm-hmm.
made me sort of say, "Do you know, I need to write the book."
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because no one ever gives you a warning sign when you go into business. No one ever stops you and say, hey, hold on a minute. Do you know what you're getting yourself into? Do you know what contract you're signing? No.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's the same in the US as in the UK. If you want to drive a car, number one, you need to take lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you need to pass the test to make sure that you're competent
Yeah.
so that you are safe behind the wheel. Well, where's the certification to say you're safe behind the business?
Mm. That's that's a mic drop. You're right. So we just, we it's business. Okay, going into that because I want to go more into, your book about what you're talking about when, especially when it's coming to, you say, the success trap. I like how you say why business owners accidentally build businesses that own them. And like you just said just a minute ago, like we don't have like a certain say, okay, you have this and this, okay, you're ready to be this entrepreneur, you're ready to be this business person, go ahead, this is what you're gonna, these are gonna what you're gonna see. Basically you're kind of taking that plunge, that chance.
No. So, and if you want to look at the statistics behind it, in the UK, we have around 5.4 million small to medium sized privately owned enterprises, of which 4.2 million are solopreneurs. And you think how a business starts. Rarely does a business start with more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get partnerships, yep, but that's more the exception than the norm.
Mm-hmm.
So from day one, you start your business. You are head of sales, head of marketing, head of finance, head of operations, head. The very second you say, I am open, you are already training your business to depend on you. The trap has
Mm-hmm.
been set and you are already building your prison. But they don't realize they're building a prison. And at the very beginning, day one, you may have put a little bit of money in, but you've got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Now, if you are lucky and you get to the 5 years, what's that journey been like? Where it's been blood, sweat, and tears. You've worked long hours, lots of sacrifice, tons of passion, energy, enthusiasm, because you've had to spin up the impossible. You had nothing to lose on day one. You were poor. You had a dream. By the time you get to year five, you must be doing something right because you're now part of the 20%. So you may have sort of been making some money. Now, after all those years of sacrifice, what do people do? If they're making some money, go buy a house, maybe upgrade that house, buy a car, upgrade that car, start a family. These are all the common things that people do once they achieve a little bit of success. And maybe for some of those out there, they've hired a person off too. And the reason I call it the hamster wheel trap is on day one, you were just running to get started. Now you're running to make sure you don't lose anything because your overheads have gone up, both personally and in the business. And because at this stage, in 99% of all cases, the founder is still responsible for driving that revenue. What that means is if the founder stops running, the revenue slows down coming in. Well, as soon as that happens, you can't make your financial commitments. You are dead. So you've got success, but you got no choice but to run faster and faster and faster. And that eventually leads to founder burnout.
Wow. Yeah, I knew I was hitting it when you talking about the hamster wheel. Now with that, Sir Peter, King Peter, what kind of, like, just tips that you would give to individuals not to get caught up in that, or how they can, move out from that hamster wheel syndrome?
First and foremost, you need to fess up to your reality.
Okay.
And look, one of my favorite sayings happens to be God created man in his image. Now, if that to be true, then you created your business in your image, which means everything that's happening in your business is a reflection of you, my friend, nobody else. So you've gotten to where you are based on everything you know how to do.
Okay.
There is no, I'm going to go work tomorrow. And if I keep turning up every single day, the magic fairy will come and fix my problems for me. No, you can only fix your problems yourself. And if you look at history, 2004, we saw the ending of the industrial age.
Yeah.
So that 100-year stretch finished. We then entered the knowledge worker age, or the digital age, as it's sometimes called. Well, that's all about knowledge. Now you think about it. If your business isn't where you want it to be, and potentially it may suck a little bit, it's because unfortunately, at certain things in business, you suck. That's the harsh reality. Now you want to change your fortunes, then you've got to pick up some new skills. You've got to learn new stuff. And a lot of business owners, unfortunately, and again, another piece of research that over the 20-year period, 68% of the people that I work with happen to be dyslexic. Extremely smart, but dyslexic, which means the standard schooling system didn't work for them. And a lot of people, when they leave school, they have education fatigue, be it school, college, or university. And they think, I'm going to take a break from learning. No. If you're going to go into business, you start learning the day you go into business because there are so many facets you've got to learn. And if you do not learn those things, you'll be punished.
Yeah.
So my advice to everyone is start learning. Well, I don't like reading. Good. Listen. Listen to the book. Well, I don't have time. Of course you do. You have time to do stupid stuff. You have time to learn. And you know what's interesting with that, Barbara, as well, is that the economy is not racist. It doesn't care what color your skin is, what religion you are, what gender you are. It doesn't discriminate. It only knows two things: competence and incompetence. If you're competent, you get rewarded. However, if you are incompetent, man, you're going to be punished with interest.
Wow. You said with interest, you're right. It's gonna come twice. I always say, yeah, it kind of compounds when you learn. Wow, that I always see this is what I love about what you do already, is that you make things that's not so people make things sometimes complicated and it's not. It's really not. You said it two things right there. Either, first of all, you need to learn. I'm forever learning. I always push myself, Sir Peter, to learn more and more and more. I keep myself open in that area all the time because, like you said, the world is going to keep doing what it's going to do. It's going to keep, like you said, we're in the informational part right now. I mean, AI is, and I keep telling people, AI just didn't pop up last year. I always try to remind people, why do you think AI just was created like 2 or 3 years ago? No, this was created back, way back, if people understand. I mean, even if you look at, and I always use a cartoon as an example. I don't know if you know the Jetsons. I mean, I'm probably Asian myself, or other ones.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that, right? Okay, you remember they were everything they were doing. It was AI stuff going on there. There was information. So that was back in the 70s. So now in the 2000 now, and then you're thinking it just happened 2 years ago that they're putting all out there. So I'm glad that you said that because we have to keep up with that. If we don't, you just said it. You said it straightforward. Our business is dead. We're just like it's done. Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about AI because I hear from a lot of people, well, I'm not using AI because it's going to make people unemployed and I don't believe it's ethical. Listen, okay, have your moral high ground. You ain't going to be using it. Somebody else is going to use it instead, and they're taking your business. And by the time you wake up, there ain't going to be nothing left for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you think of it like that, it's like, oh, see, that's why I like you're straightforward. So yeah, it's gonna happen either or. If you don't use it, other people are using it to build on what they need to do, and then you're kind of So yeah, you have to embrace it. You have to embrace it.
And there's
Definitely.
no point beating about the bush, especially in business. If you beat around the bush, by the time you sort of wake up, the bush is gone, as is your business. Burn the bush down, learn, and move forward.
I love your straightforwardness. I really do. Burn that bush. I'm going to start using that now. See, can I take that from you? I want to use that when I'm telling other people and coaching. Thank you. I'm going to give you. I'm going to say the name where I got it from. But wow, this has been amazing. So before I want to give you some time to just give any lasting thoughts on the screen. But I want to ask this before we go to that point. I know you mentioned a second point, the leadership shifts that changes everything. So can you just give us a little bit on that? Because that's really important, especially when it comes to leadership.
The thing is, most people think that leadership is a natural skill, and it
Mm-hmm.
isn't. It isn't. You have
Mm-hmm.
one or two naturally born gifted leaders, but like communication, like management, like anything we do in life, leadership's a learned skill. And if you don't learn to lead, you're going to be led. And that's the hard. Look, no one's going to work for you if you're a bad leader.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to ever want to work for you if you've got the charisma of a dead plant.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And you think about how many business owners there operate daily in stress and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That's reality. Now, you want to go work for someone like that?
No. Yeah, I can do that
I
on my
mean, you want
own.
to work for the person who doesn't know their backside from their elbow, and you're going to trust that person to get you to achieve your life dreams? Never going to happen.
No, no. So now I got to throw in another question before we put you on screen alone and you do some lasting thoughts because this is you're pulling. I'm pulling from you. This is good. So the other thing, talking about going back to leadership. What do you think? What is like your definition? Because everybody seems like they have different little definitions of what leadership is. So what is your definition of leadership?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've got a single definite answer for you. But I think that like leadership is being true to yourself. Number one, know who you are, know where you are going, and make sure that you look after people that want to join you on that journey.
That's perfect. Say you didn't. Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. So with this, I'll make sure now I'm gonna take myself down for a few. And please, please, King, just leave any lasting thoughts for the audience, and then we'll come and I'll let them know where to contact you. So I'll be right back.
Look, at the end of the day, we all have dreams. We all have goals. We all have ambition. You only got one shot on being on this planet. Do yourself a favor. Be the best version of yourself. Start learning today. Look, I'm always going to say start with this book. You can get it for 99 cents on Kindle right now. Won't stay that price forever, but right now you can buy that for 99 cents on the Kindle and start learning. Start with one book, then the next, and the one after, and never stop learning. Become a lifelong learner because the more you learn is the more you earn. And that is the currency of today's economy. Learn, implement, grow. And I like what Jim Rohn once said. He said that the tree only has two states. If a tree isn't growing, it's dying. And that's the same for you, my friend. If you're not growing, you are dying. It's just you don't realize you are dying. And that will be the sad thing.
Wow, that's interesting. Like you said, that'd be sad if you don't recognize that you're not growing. That is sad. Wow, bring you back. I always ask for that because we're recording, so I can say, well, you told me you'll come back. But this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. A lot of good golden nuggets. that you gave us. I see why you're doing what you're doing, and you're teaching us, especially as leaders, and helping other businesses grow and understanding that their business don't have to suck. They really don't. So with that said, please reach out to this wonderful, wonderful king. I'm going to put his email address on the screen again so you can all take it. I don't want nobody saying, well, Barbara, I didn't know how to contact him. Well, it's right there. It's right there. And if you can't see it on the screen, you know who I am, and you know I can get to Peter. So there's no excuse, Peter. See, that's what I always tell him. I always tell him that. So it's been a pleasure. And again, this is the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host, where we spotlight for advice and in business. And really important that I want to remind everybody again, you have a special, special, unique gift in you. It should shine not just for yourself, but for others around you, whatever you're doing. And always remember, it's okay while you're trying to get your light to shine that you get a coach. You take care, and we'll see you at the next Coaches Lounge.
Thank you so much for having